Have you ever snapped awake at exactly 3 a.m.? Why died? And you don't even know why. And here's the creepy part. Why does it keep happening at the same time? Like your body set an alarm you didn't ask for. Let me paint the scene. It's 3:07 a.m. The house is quiet. Your room is dark. You roll over, expecting to fall right back asleep. But your mind suddenly feels on. Maybe your heart is beating a little faster. Maybe you feel warm. Maybe you have that weird mix of tired and wired. And then comes the ritual. You check the clock. You sigh. You try not to look at your phone. And somehow, you're still awake 45 minutes later, replaying tomorrow. Tadulis, like a movie trailer. You can turn off. A lot of people think waking up at 3 a.m. means you're stressed. And yes, sometimes it does. But that's not the whole story. Because here is the mystery. Plenty of people wake up at 3 a.m., even on calm weeks, even after a normal day, even when they don't feel anxious at bedtime. So, what is? Your body usually wakes you up for one reason. It thinks something needs your attention. Not a thought, a survival signal. And once you understand what signal is most often behind the 3 a.m. wake-up, the fix becomes surprisingly practical. Most of the time, the 3 a.m. wake-up is caused by a blood sugar dip that triggers a stress hormone surge. I know blood sugar sounds like it only matters if you love desserts or if you've been told you have a problem. But this can happen to everyday people who don't consider themselves sugar people. It can happen to the person who eats cereal for dinner, the person who has just a little wine at night, the person who eats very clean but too light, and even the person who skips dinner because they're trying to be healthy. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. While you're asleep, your body is still working. It's managing repairs, brain cleanup, hormone timing, and energy control. Ideally, your blood sugar stays steady through the night, and your stress hormones stay low so your brain stays asleep. But if your blood sugar drops too low in the early morning hours, your body doesn't politely tap you on the shoulder. It hits the emergency button. It releases stress hormones to bring your blood sugar back up. And those stress hormones are designed to wake you up. That's their job. So you pop awake at 3 a.m. not because your body is broken, but because it's trying to protect you. Now here is the curiosity piece most people miss. You might not feel low blood sugar in the classic way. You might not feel shaky. You might not feel hungry. Instead, it shows up as sudden alertness, anxious thoughts, a pounding heart, a warm rush, or that feeling like sleep just vanished. And once you're awake, your brain does what brains do. It looks for a reason. It starts scanning your life. Work, money, relationships. That awkward thing you said 3 years ago. So you assume stress caused the wake-up, when in reality, the wake-up created the stress feeling. Now let's talk about why your blood sugar would dip at that time. One big reason is a carb-heavy dinner, especially if it's refined carbs. Think pasta, pizza, white rice, bread, dessert, sweet snacks, even healthy granola or cereal. Those can spike blood sugar earlier in the night. Your body responds with a strong insulin response, and then, later, the drop. That drop is what pulls the fire alarm at 3 a.m. Another sneaky trigger is alcohol. A nightcap might make you sleepy at first, but later it can mess with your sleep rhythm and your blood sugar stability. People often say, I fall asleep fine, I just can't stay asleep. That's a classic clue. Alcohol can be the reason you're waking up right when your sleep should be deepest. Another overlooked trigger is eating too little at dinner, especially if you're dieting hard or skipping meals. If your body doesn't have enough steady fuel stored, it may dip at night and push stress hormones to compensate. Ironically, some people wake up at 3 a.m. because they're trying to be good. And then the rest, the third trigger that surprises a lot of people. Late night stress. Scrolling in bright light. Even if you feel sleepy while watching videos in bed. Bright light at night can confuse your brain about when it's supposed to be deeply asleep. That can make you more sensitive to the blood sugar drop. So, something that might have been a small dip becomes a full wake-up. Now, there's another layer here that makes this feel almost spooky. Your body has a natural stress hormone rhythm. In the early morning hours, stress hormones begin to rise slowly to prepare you to wake up later. That's normal, but if your sleep is fragile, if your blood sugar is unstable, or if your evenings are wired, that natural rise becomes a surge, and that's when you wake up and feel like you got yanked out of sleep. So the question becomes, how do you stop the 3 a.m. alarm? Let's make it practical and simple. First, change what dinner is made of, not just when you eat it. If your dinners tend to be quick carbs, try shifting to a steadier plate. Protein, fiber, and healthy fats. Think eggs, chicken, fish, Greek yogurt, tofu, beans, if you tolerate them, plus vegetables, plus something like olive oil, avocado, nuts, or a little cheese. You don't need to be perfect. You're trying to prevent that spaghetti crash pattern. And here's a small but powerful tweak. If you do eat carbs at dinner, make them slower. Instead of a huge bowl of pasta, try a smaller portion paired with protein and vegetables. The goal isn't no carbs. The goal is no roller coaster. Second, watch the hidden sugar that seems harmless at night. That dessert. That sweet latte. That just a little chocolate. That bowl of cereal. That sweet yogurt. If the 3 a.m. wake up is your pattern, test what happens when you remove the sweet stuff at night for a week. Not forever. Just long enough to gather evidence. Because the most convincing health advice isn't what someone says. It's what your body reports back when you run a simple experiment. Third, be careful with alcohol. Even if it feels like it helps you fall asleep. Try a 7-day reset. No alcohol at night, and see what happens to the 3 a.m. wake up. Many people are shocked by how quickly their sleep stops fragmenting. Fourth, give your nervous system a power-down routine that doesn't feel like a chore. If you're the kind of person who says, I can't meditate, good. You don't have to, but you do need a signal to your brain that the day is over. Try this. When you get in bed, take 10 slow breaths and make the exhale longer than the inhale. Your body reads long exhales as safety. And relax your jaw and drop your shoulders. It sounds too simple, but remember your 3 a.m. wake up is often a stress hormone issue. So we're training your body to lower the baseline. Fifth, stop feeding your brain at 3 a.m. This is huge. If you wake up and check the time, your brain learns a habit. We wake at 3. If you wake up and check your phone, your brain gets light, stimulation, and information that makes you more awake. So, do this instead. If you wake up, don't look at the clock. Don't negotiate with yourself. Just keep the room dark, roll to a comfortable position, and do a gentle breath count, like you're boring your brain back to sleep. Your only job is to stay calm and let the wave pass. And yes, the first few nights might still be messy, but you're breaking a pattern. Now, I want to mention one more cause because it's important. Sometimes waking up at 3 a.m. isn't blood sugar at all. Sometimes it's breathing. If you snore, wake up with a dry mouth, grind your teeth, or feel tired even after enough hours, you might be having subtle breathing interruptions at night. Those can spike stress hormones too, and they often happen more in the second half of the night. In that case, the solution isn't a supplement or a bedtime routine, it's addressing airflow, sleep position, nasal congestion, or getting evaluated if it's persistent. Another possibility is histamine, especially if you wake up hot, itchy, stuffy, or with racing thoughts, and you notice it's worse during allergy seasons or after certain foods. Your body can be more alert when histamine is high, and that can nudge you awake. That's why the best approach is to treat this like a detective story. The time on the clock is just the clue. The real question is what pattern you're running before bed. So here, as a simple 1-week 3 a.m. reset, you can try without making your life complicated. For 1 week, eat a steadier dinner with protein and vegetables. Cut the sweet stuff at night. Skip alcohol. Dim lights an hour before bed. And don't look at the clock if you wake up. If you do nothing else, do those. Most people notice something changes within days. Either they stop waking up, or they wake up but fall back asleep faster, or the anxiety feeling disappears. That's how you know you're on the right track. And if you're thinking, but why is my body doing this now? I never used to wake up at 3 a.m. That's another clue. Sometimes it starts after a new job, a stressful season, weight changes, more evening snacks, more caffeine, perimenopause, or hormonal shifts, or simply months of inconsistent sleep. Your body adapts to patterns quickly, both good and bad. The good news is, you can train it back. So let's bring it home. If you wake up at 3 a.m. every night, your body might be warning you about an overnight crash that triggers a stress hormone surge. Stabilize dinner, reduce sugar and alcohol at night, calm your nervous system before bed, Keep your room dark and clock-free during wake-ups, and consider breathing or allergy factors. If the pattern persists, if you want more simple, curiosity-driven health fixes like this you can actually sleep through the night, subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep these insights coming.